Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. After these safety instructions, we're ready for takeoff. You don't have to fasten your seatbelts, but we'll still take off. My colleagues and I are delighted to welcome you here this morning and to see the positive response to our invitations for today's meeting. If we have one small regret, it is that we have had to turn down many other requests for participation today. There are some empty chairs. I guess this is because of train strikes, which unfortunately happen regularly in Belgium over the last period. The event today comes a week after the publication of the Horizon 2020 calls for proposals for 2016-17, and we there see the oversubscription to today's event as a sign of interest and engagement to maximize the opportunities that we try to offer through these calls for proposals, notably through the focus area on smart and sustainable cities. Looking at the list of participants today, we are happy to see so many participants and representatives from many different professional backgrounds and a wide range of sectors that are gathered here today. Some of you come from government departments, city authorities, universities. Others come from research centers, large and small companies, NGOs, just to name a few. I guess all of you, to a lesser or greater extent, are stakeholders in your cities of residence. And let me tell you straight away that such a diverse, multi-stakeholder group, downscaled to a manageable size, would be our dream team for a consortium in our demonstration projects. Over the next 2 decades, cities will grow by over 1 billion people and generate 2/3 of global economic growth. For Europe, cities or urban areas are the places where more than 70% of EU citizens know today already live. Urban areas are the engines of the European economy, providing jobs and services, functioning as hubs that catalyze creativity and innovation. But I think we all agree that cities are also the places where many of our pressing societal challenges come together: economic, social, environmental, as well as demographic. Unemployment, disengagement, depopulation, marginalization, loss of cultural and biological diversity, pollution and climate change related challenges and risks are real. And they create demand for developing and experimenting with innovative solution paradigms and urban regeneration pathways. Together with cities and regions, we must find answers to the very difficult questions of how we grow demographically and economically and keep our cities sustainable, healthy and livable. How to enhance our society's well-being and still keep urban consumption viable. And how do we continue to progress and modernize responsibly vis-à-vis future generations, our children and the children of our children. We believe that we can find part of the answers to these urban challenges by transforming them into innovation opportunities, notably by innovating with nature and with culture. Our ambition, together with you, is to demonstrate that innovative measures based on natural and cultural resources can provide simultaneously economic, social and environmental benefits and help urban societies to find sustainable solutions to their challenges. Cities that work better in terms of reducing emissions, sustainability and identity of places are also prosperous and more attractive places to live and work in. In the new Horizon 2020 work program on climate action and resource efficiency, we are taking a new direction. Instead of continuing what we have traditionally been doing over the last 30 years or so, namely funding research and biodiversity and ecosystems to understand the problems and their causes, or continuing research on how to conserve and restore cultural heritage, we are breaking new ground and see ourselves not so much as funders of research, but as co-investors in new solutions to societal challenges. We want to work with you and co-invest with you in order to provide evidence that by tapping into the complexity and power we put our electronic gadgets away. The power of nature through nature-based solutions, we can overcome numerous urban problems such as climate change mitigation and adaptation and sustainable management of water resources, and at the same time enhance biodiversity and natural capital, economic development and social welfare. Similarly, we want to demonstrate that due to its intrinsic, economic, cultural and societal value, cultural heritage can be a catalyst for urban regeneration and a driver for economic growth, social cohesion and environmental sustainability, and illustrate that this will be a realistic way to preserve and safeguard cultural heritage in times of fiscal austerity and reductions in public financing. Our new strategic orientations build on the advice of two high-level expert groups we set up more than a year ago on respectively nature-based solutions and cultural heritage. We are grateful that three of the members of the groups are here today among the speakers, Jürgen Tack, Marta Fernandez and Brian Smith, and that the members of this group continue to be good ambassadors for the new ideas put forward in their reports. I think it's fair to say that the overwhelming interest, not only for today's event, but also for the information day we had on the 20th of September, gives them and us reassurance that our new orientations resonate with many people. Ladies and gentlemen, Europe's renewal, the renewal of our economy, tapping new sources of sustainable growth and jobs, the number one priority for the Juncker European Commission, will to a large extent happen in our cities. As I said, we want to work with cities not as subjects of research, but as actors of innovation, who catalyze the development and testing in real-life conditions of new solutions to the challenges they face, and who do this by adopting a systemic approach to innovation, which considers technology together with innovation in business models, in finance, in governance, in regulation, in skills, and many other dimensions of societal innovation. We position nature and culture in cities as possible vectors for such systemic innovation and for making our cities not only livable, but also make them contribute to addressing the big societal challenges of our times, including climate and energy. And by supporting such efforts from the EU level, our aim is to give scale and scope to urban investment in new solutions that are not only innovative, but also replicable or inspiring to other cities from across Europe and indeed from across the world. That will require adherence to sound scientific methods and a robust evidence base. The challenge ahead of us, thus, is to provide robust evidence about the cost-effectiveness of nature-based solutions in making our cities more climate and water resilient, and about the role cultural heritage can play in regenerating and revitalizing our cities, but also evidence on how we can maximize the economic, social and environmental co-benefits from such new solutions. And in calling for this, ladies and gentlemen, we are not dreaming. This is already happening. We will be hearing later today about experiences in Rotterdam and Ferrara, two cities that have been particularly successful in doing this. The demonstration projects called for in the new 2016 call for proposals will widen the solution portfolio beyond technological innovation, as I said, and include social innovation for new governance, finance and business models that help develop new and sustainable markets for nature-based solutions and for new and exciting cultural heritage services. Such demonstration projects, large scale, can only be successful if participating cities act as urban living labs, open urban living labs, bringing together public authorities, planners, architects, businesses, industry, financing institutions, civil society organizations, and of course, researchers. These different stakeholders, or shareholders, if you like, in joint investments, will have to work closely together across thematic, geographical, and institutional borders, and engage in co-design, co-development, and co-implementation of the new solutions for urban climate and water resilience, or for cultural heritage-led urban regeneration. We are very pleased that prominent representatives from these different types of stakeholders are among not only the audience today, but also among the speakers, namely at the EU level, Mrs. Annabel Jaeger from the Committee of the Regions, and Mr. Gary Muscat from the European Investment Bank. City representatives, Mrs. Paula Verhoeven from the city of Rotterdam, and Mr. Fabio De Luigi from the city of Ferrara. Mr. Luc Bourdeau from the European Construction Technology Platform, and Mr. Jürgen Tack from the European Platform of Biodiversity Research Strategy, as well as Mr. Johannes Riegler from the Joint Programming Initiative Urban Europe. The setup with lead and follower cities for nature-based solutions and role models and replicators for cultural heritage, as well as the provision of evidence and knowledge on the cost-effectiveness of those solutions, will help upscale the deployment and use of these solutions, and thereby create the markets of the future. By the way, we are keen to see non-European cities participate in these demonstrators. We see international outreach and cooperation as fundamental in order to succeed in the innovation effort, but also as a way to contribute to the Universal Sustainable Development Goals that have been adopted at the UN last month. The approach I have described is entirely in line with what our Commissioner for Research and Innovation, Mr. Moedas, is calling for, namely to position Europe as a leading continent of open science and open innovation that is open to the world. We see more and more that it is through these three O's, open science, open innovation, and open to the world, that we will be able to transform societal challenges into innovation opportunities and indeed the markets of the future we call for. Ladies and gentlemen, I do not want to draw more of your time elaborating on the technical issues of the topics to be discussed today, which are indeed very important, but my colleagues will do this in the afternoon sessions. I hope the meeting today will fulfill its expectations in providing you the clarifications you need regarding the requirements of the calls, and most importantly, in enabling you to network and forge new partnerships. I should like to remind you that after this meeting today here in Brussels, there is more help to draw on in your local national contact points. These are always well-informed sources of information and assistance on Horizon 2020 opportunities and processes, and will often be able to inspire your further effort in networking and finding potential partners. But we also count on you, ladies and gentlemen, after the meeting today, for helping to spread the gospel about renaturing and reculturing our cities. We want and we need this to become a mass movement, not a niche development. I wish you all a very fruitful and productive meeting, and thank you very much for your active participation today.